Hey, what's up guys? Houston here. Look, if you're trying to get a LightStream loan, a lot of people want the LightStream loan. Well, I'm going to explain to you the data points and especially what people are not doing when they get denied and what it may help, why it may help you to get approved. All right. So first of all, LightStream loan is issued through Truist Bank. All right. Now with Truist Bank, most of the time directly, they will use Equifax, FICO 8. However, when it comes to their personal loans and stuff, they use their system LightStream. Okay, and so LightStream chooses to use TransUnion. All right, so that's all they're going to pull is TransUnion. Now, here's the thing about it. They go from 5,000 up to 100,000. And yes, you can actually get the loan with no docs and no job. Now, here's the thing about it. If you're trying to get a loan with LightStream with no docs, what it is that you have to stay under $42,000. Okay? If you're trying to go with no doc loan with LightStream, you have to stay under $42,000. Okay? Now, here's the thing about it. Let's just say you apply for the $42,000 and you get denied. All right, that hard pull they did from your TransUnion, you actually can utilize that hard pull within the next 30 days, right? So if they deny you for the $42,000, I would tell you I would pull back all the way to about $25,000 or less. Okay, the reason is because of the data points that they're looking at, and I'm gonna break some of these data points down to you. One, it may be because your DTI, your debt to income ratio, if it's over 50%, then they are going to have a problem with you. All right. Now, I'm going to tell you about a loan that you can possibly get that's up to $50,000 where you don't have to worry about a 50% debt to income ratio. They go up to 75%. Okay. And I'm going to tell you about that. But let me help you understand about LightStream. Now, another thing is that with LightStream, you can get this here with no job. So what I mean by no job, you do have to have income. There's a difference because some people are like, well, I ain't got no job, but do you have income? That's the question. So don't tell me in terms of not understanding. There's a difference between not having a job and not having income. All right. So I'm just clarifying that. Now, here's the thing about it. If you're on government benefits, you still can qualify for a loan through LightStream. All right. If you're receiving child support, you still can qualify for a loan through LightStream, right? Alimony counts as well. All right. Self-employed. Yes, if you're self-employed, you still can qualify for a loan through LightStream. Now, here's the big thing I tell people when you're self-employed. If you're not operating as a registered company and you're not paying yourself payroll, then you're leaving money on the table because it's a lot of companies out there. And I'm going to tell you the credit score with LightStream that's going to be more effective for you. Now, a lot of people, they would go for these here loans like with LightStream and they would have below a 660 credit score. Okay, that's another thing. If you below a 660 credit score, I would say the factor is about a 690 credit score. Okay, now I'm gonna tell you how to get that credit score up to that, right? By using the loan. Now, here's the thing about it. You need to understand that with LightStream, again, they are using TransUnion. All right, but that DTI is what hurts most people. So then if that DTI is one of the things that hurts most people, then you should look for loans that are not looking at your DTI. So the loans that won't be focused on the DTI is like universal credit, right? Now, also, I want to go back. This is another thing that I forgot to mention about LightStream loan. If your credit file is less than 3 years old, they may deny you as well. Okay, that's another thing. Also, the address that you put on the application. If that address is not matching the address that's on your TransUnion credit file that's been updated, that's the reason I tell people whenever you're looking for money, you need to pull your real credit score. That's the reason I always tell people is go to the website, pull your real credit score instead of just taking chances. But the point I'm making is that when you have a mismatch of addresses, you may have been staying in apartment A and you move to apartment B and you put apartment B on the application. When they pull that application, if it's showing apartment A, then you may get disqualified. Okay, so that's the reason why I mentioned to you earlier about the 30-day pull, because you can actually correct that and you can show them that, hey, this is my actual address. And while you sending in that notification, then you would have a second chance at the apple. All right. So that's one of the things that most people get wrong, is that they figure it's just a one and done. No, they would actually give you a second chance to reapply. But again, I would tell you to go for a lower amount. Like I said, up to 42,000, no docs. But I would tell you, if you get denied, then I would probably go for a lower amount, like less than 25,000, just to be safe, if you're still trying to do no docs. All right. Now, that being said, talking about some of these here other loans that you may want to consider. I always tell you guys that low credit finance, they go up to $50,000. Okay. Now, their DTI is up to 75% as well. Their interest rates is 5.99 up to 35.99, and their interest rates is lower than LightStream. Okay. Now, also with their loans, it does not report to the credit bureaus. So with that loan, I would apply for that loan, and I would probably pay down some of my revolving credit and then apply for the LightStream loan if that's the loan you actually want. Okay, at that point, if you approve for a loan but it's not enough and it's reporting and you want a higher limit loan, that's how you actually get your credit score up, so that you can actually get over to the LightStream loan where you get a larger amount. Right now, you also have other lenders, and one of the lenders I always tell you about, again, you may want to look at Reprise Financial. Okay, they go up to 25,000. Now, I mentioned about entrepreneurs. They do not accept entrepreneurs. So what you have to do as an entrepreneur, you would have to register a business and set up payroll. Now, if you need help setting up payroll, type payroll below and we can actually help you set up payroll for your business. We can actually help you properly register the right type of business to get the maximum amount of funding as well. Okay, so those are the things that you really need to understand. Now, there's also other places you may want to look. Now, you also have like Viva loans. Okay, so with Viva loans, they only go up to 15,000, but again, they're overlooking that debt to income ratio. All right, so you having 75% debt to income ratio, Viva loans may still approve you as well. Now with Viva loans, they're going to use third-party credit bureaus. They're not going to use the major credit bureaus. They're going to use like Clarity, which is owned by Experian, DataX, which is owned by Equifax, Factor Trust, which is owned by TransUnion. So they'll use a different system. Going back to one of the lenders I mentioned before that goes up to $50,000, which was Universal Credit. Now with Universal Credit, again, they don't need a 660 credit score. All you need is a 580. However, your credit profile needs to be at least 2 years old with at least 2 accounts on the credit file. Okay, so that's very important. And they go up to 75% debt to income ratio as well. All right. Now I have one other lender that I want to mention, and that's with Chevron Federal Credit Union. Now, the reason why is because with Chevron Federal Credit Union, their personal loans, they actually go up to 50,000, plus they give you 90 days to make your first payment. So that's the reason why I would probably consider some of those other lenders to get a loan, pay down my debt, and then try to get a larger loan through LightStream. All right, if that's what you want. All right, so if this is helpful, and you have other questions, you can click the link in the description. Schedule a one-on-one consultation. All right, thank you.